Hello and welcome to Building Your T-Shirt Empire. My name is Cole, and with me as always is Gavin. Gavin, say hello to the people.
What's up, everybody? It's Gavin here, founder of Seps.io.
So today we have a very exciting guest. It's Kimarie Hunt from Clockwork Screen Printing and Embroidery. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the industry, because I know you're relatively new to it.
I am. I think so. I started off. We took over. My son and I actually own a business. So we took over. My son Dakota and I. We took over the business in 2019.
Okay.
Awesome end of the year to take over business. But Clockwork's actually been in business since like 2005. So it's all relationship based, knowing people and getting involved with different people, and which led us to take it over. Partners with Clockwork.
And so why? Was Clockwork trying to sell because they were doing well, or was it because they had issues and they felt like they had to just bail?
Oh, great question. So our business partner still, he started Clockwork back in like '05 in his garage. Dakota was in baking and hated it right out of high school in baking. And I was actually in action sports. So I worked in action sports. So the Detour, Vans Triple Crown, X Games, that's my whole thing. And we got involved with Clockwork because one of my athletes back in 2007 actually was injured. And then one of his sponsors, relationships are everything.
Yeah.
I'm telling you. So one of my athletes got injured, and his sponsor hired this guy to screen print shirts for him, and asked me to go up to El Segundo to pick their big shirts. They were going to get athletes at the next event, show their support for this guy. And so I went up and got him, met the owner, and for 3 years we printed shirts with him.
Oh, okay.
And so 2007 to 2010, stayed in touch with this guy, obviously, and we were there monthly picking up shirts, right? And then being my background with action sports, I had a radio show with DJC up in LA.
Oh, cool.
And so this whole thing is like familiar to me. But I did a show with a mutual friend and the guy Jeff, who was owning Clockwork. I did a show with a mutual friend. And he came up, he contacted me. I heard you're going to interview Colin from the Metal Militia, motocross guy. Can I come up and see you? It's been years. So kind of fast forward is he came up after the show. He's like, and Jeff, our business partner, is an entrepreneur. Like he starts businesses every week, like LLCs all the time, right? He's like, I'm going to start working with athletes, and I need you to come in and look at contracts, do photo shoots, like be that person for me. And so he started like walks a brief company, a sunglass company, whole screen print shop, and now he's getting into like athlete stuff, right? So I do it. I work with him about 3 days a week, 2 hours a day, just kind of on the side, overseeing football players. So looking at their contracts, looking at potential sponsors and photo shoots, that kind of thing. So that was in 2013. And so 2013 to 2018, jump forward. Jeff calls me into the office. I had nothing to do with like the screen printing side of it. I saw it and wanted nothing to do with it.
Right.
So I'm like, dude, this sucks.
Yeah.
Like shit is wrong. People are pissed. Like it was brutal. So Jeff calls me into the office. I was like, I did other stuff for him, like in sports and like reaction properties and whatnot. And he calls me in his office, and he's like, look, this is 2018. I'm going to sell Clockwork. And he's doing other things that, he's had his side of the business, whatever. I'm selling Clockwork. Do you want to buy it? And I'm like, no.
Yeah, right.
He's like, I will sell this for you for X amount. Do you and Dakota want to do it? I'm like, no way. Like, there's no way I would ever do that. And so he's like, okay, so I'll talk to this other guy that worked there. And he goes, I'll offer it to him. And I was just like, whoa. Like, he goes, you'll be with me. We'll still work on other things. So I'm like, okay, cool. Never thought anything else about it. So I go to my office, go to my desk, and I call Dakota, or I text her or something. And I'm like, dude, Jeff just called me in his office. And I'm thinking I have to find a job, right? That's
right.
what I'm thinking, like, even though I had nothing to do with that business. So I text Dakota, I think, and I'm like, Jeff just called me in his office. He wants to know if they want to buy Clockwork. And he goes, you said yes, right? I'm like, no. And he goes, oh my God, get me out of here. Like, I'm in banking. This fucking sucks. Like, I need out. And I was like, oh my God. As a mom. Okay. I'm like, where are you go? So this sucks, man. I'm like, I see it. Like, you don't understand. Right? It's so hard. People are bitching about this and that. And employees aren't, and they don't give a shit. It's not, he goes, but if you only had the stress and it was ours, we would build it differently.
Right.
I'm like, no, that's not good. But okay, I'm the mom. Like, if you want another break key, I can do anything for you.
Oh, no.
I'm your mom. And I love you. And so I went that same day, went back into the office and I go, okay. He's like, what? I'm like, okay, we'll do that. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, handshake. And then it's like, okay. And I said, I don't think I want all of it. I think it's a gradual thing. I think we need to do maybe 50-50 and you gradually step away because I just don't know, man.
Right.
I wasn't convinced. So that's what we did. And so by that time, it was close to like the end of 2018. The building came on way too early. We had way too many people already. Didn't know how I was going to pay them. Like the stress already started.
Right.
And I'm like, I just won't take a pay. Like I'll pay to come in. I just won't make anything. Like I don't know how we're going to do this. So we went through a gradual process through 2019, just like Dakota coming in and like learning little things. And by the time of by the fourth quarter of 2019, we had fully taken over, moved the business. We had been in that spot we called the dungeon for like 10 years. So we got a new spot. We had this new business and we were kind of making everything, you know, on the apparel. I'm going to have a showroom and I want all the things to be, you know, cute. And I mean, we're in Manhattan Beach area. So like, there's money there. Like, people want to touch and feel things. They want to see quality stuff. Like they don't want just like this little dungeon sweatshop type, you know what I mean? So that was my vision, is to really build something. If we're going to do this, this is how I want to do it. Oh my God, the work I'm doing in business. I wanted to just die.
Yeah.
You know, like it was bad.
So when you got it at that point, and what was the equipment like, and how many staff were there?
Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we adopted everybody there because we didn't know anything. Like I don't know what emulsion is. I don't know what spray on it. I don't know what anything is. Like I didn't know nothing. Plus, when we moved to the new building in the same Acevedo, we didn't bring on the art guy that was there. So basically, for the last year and a half, he was kind of managing everything. I think that's why it just kind of it didn't dissolve ever as a business. It was always very good and thriving, but it was just managed behind the scenes, I think, poorly, which he didn't have any business doing. That he's an art guy, right? So he didn't come with us. Right now, we don't have anybody in artistic stuff. I don't even know what separations is. No, now we do. But so like when we took over in that transition, like late, like fourth quarter of 2019, like we had to get to Christmas, and now we're just like, what are the films like for all these things? Like to cook nothing, dude. Like nothing. And I knew people, like I knew some of the customers because they had seen me in the office. And I even did some of the billing for like a year for Clockwork. But yeah, it is just a brutal takeover. But like talk about you just dive in head first. No wire. This idiots doing this. So yeah, so we took over and we got to Christmas. Somehow we met a guy that had a long relationship, friendship, that Dakota knew somebody. He did their banking. He's like, well, I have a business in Long Beach and I'll do your art for you. So we're like, cool, now we have somebody. So we did that for like 4 months. That didn't work out. And then, so got to Christmas and we're like, going to ISS. We're going to like meet all these great people and do this, and everything's going to change. And then we're going to start cleaning the house with employees. Like we were way overstaffed. And so I just started doing the hard part of it. It was just really cutting back people and like, look, we can either do full time. We had a family, a mom and daughter that worked there.
Oh yeah.
Do you both want to work part time or one person full time? Because that's just where we're at, and that's a hard, obviously, conversation at any time. So we did. So we they ended up just leaving. They were like, it's either possible full time or not. And I'm like,
I had friends where I fired one of the friends, and then I was like, there's nothing wrong with you. They got fired because they were doing a bad thing. And then she's like, I have to out of solidarity. I'm like, solidarity? Like, you literally didn't do anything wrong. They did the wrong thing. And she still like never came back. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's weird how those connections work in business. And like, speaking of that connection, I work with my wife and you work with your son. How do you balance that? Like, how do you not just like talk about t-shirts at Thanksgiving?
So he's better at it than me. So that transition was hard because we didn't have established roles. It was fight or flight. Like I was ready to take off and he's like, no, we're going to do this. And I was like, oh my God. What's worse, working with professional athletes, which is really amplified babysitting, or doing this? I don't even know what was more stressful, like tracking down athletes that were supposed to be somewhere in another world, in a country losing their stuff, or this. Like, it was so hard. So that transition, like and to be completely transparent, we're just now hitting it.
Yeah.
We're just now, after 3.5 years or whatever it is, really getting roles established. And it's all due to Dakota. Like, honestly, we had so much unlearning to do, to be honest. Unlearning and learning practices and figuring out what roles we were going to do, that it was like, oh, did you email them, or I got them, or are you doing the art? But like, oh, I already have the clothes here. And he's like, why is stuff here when I don't even know what we're printing? You know, it was a cluster, man.
How did you transition that? I mean, talking about organization, we basically run on mostly Printavo, and then we have like some automation that runs through like Trello and stuff like that, and a lot of Slack channels. How did you ultimately like get that side of it organized? Printavo.
I mean,
Yeah.
Bruce knows I was a stalker.
Yeah.
He knows like who Kimarie is, because I stalked the ISS in January that I was saying. So 19, but our first like, okay, what business owners? And we're going to ISS. We're going to meet everybody. So I actually took a handwritten 4-page work order, right? To meet Curtis in person, because I stalked him on Instagram and was just like, I had signed up and didn't really even know how to use it. I think I paid for a year-ish.
Right.
Didn't really know how to do it. Didn't have any like training or anything. And I took our handwritten, like highlighted, oh, hard date, this is due here. And like, oh, stretch out, not 6, but 4 XLs and all that. I took it to him. I said, this is what we took a picture together. I love it. But I said, it was like the before and after. So he held up the Printavo like iPad, right? And then I held the work order of 4 pages with scribbles and Sharpies and rush order and all that on it. And that was how we really started to do is Printavo, because I mean, a paper that's your Bible, man. If you use that on the production floor, you're like, reprinting. Like, I don't know. Nothing was automated.
So you didn't even have like invoice.
Vellum. We used Vellum.
Really?
Yeah. Not now. But like, we used Vellum up until 2019.
Oh my God. So you had to like modernize the entire business basically. So then, so I'm assuming you got like a big Epson film printer or whatever.
So you did, to go back, you did ask me about equipment. See, I told you. So the equipment that we had, yes, we had a Vellum printer, which our partner still thinks is like the best stuff ever.
Why is he pro Vellum?
Oh man. So, and then we had 2 workhorses. So
are they ancient?
I don't even know, 5 maybe.
So yeah.
So
18-year-old.
Moved them over to the new shop. They didn't like put them on pallets or anything. They just moved them on a forklift, like the mile away. So they put him on a flatbed, and so while the arms were bent, like they never kept registration.
Right.
Super bad. Never kept registration. So I think, honestly, in 6 months, maybe we used one of them, like the workhorse. Maybe we used it on maybe 4 orders. It's just they both became shelves. Big, 6 color shelves to just gone. And we had 2 6, which we still do, but we had 2 6 color manuals. So our printers hated the work. Not that
they hated the auto so much that they ran manual.
Not that it was workhorse, but just that they weren't maintained right. It was just like, hire that up and fix that. They would rather screen print is 6 colors, 700 pieces manually.
That's crazy. And then you have quality problems because the best manual printer, when you output that much, it's just you just a sore wrist will mess up your print. It's awful.
And I never realized you really need to keep your guys happy. I didn't know that part of it. Like I've been employed with myself forever. So to have my employees and it's something that's so labor intensive and then not having the right equipment, then realizing that I really need to keep them happy and their bodies.
Right.
That's a lot. So I mean that was all a learning curve. The first thing that we did get, because we could afford it, was the Epson printer. We got like the 800 or something.
You're right.
Which we still have, and it's been amazing.
Yeah.
But that was the first equipment that we could do. But we were in debt when we were in debt, like that much. So we had a lot. We took on a lot. We took on a lot of debt, and then paying people back, and like old people, they never paid. They never had people pay before, so billing was like, oh yeah, pick up your shit.
There was just a million old invoices.
Oh my god! And then our vendors, like there was a lot that we took.
No wonder he wanted to sell.
Yeah, but I mean, he wasn't like it was great until like he got other interests.
Right.
And then, when you're not interested in something, so like the business was awesome. Like he made tons of money. It funded everything he ever did upon our houses. So it was great for that period of time. But when he became disinterested in about other people who have zero interest,
right.
That's what it did crap. And for a year, just like tanked, like errors. And like when we moved, we found boxes and boxes of independent Bella hoodies with some strong prints on them.
Right.
Hats. Like, what is this? Like, who is it? Like, oh, the color. But no one ever said anything to like the owner because hide it. We had 17,000 square feet. So it's like, put it in the attic and then like he'll never see it. And
that's crazy.
Did. Like, it was bad.
When I was at a shop forever ago, in like West LA, and I was still working at it, and I actually hadn't started managing it yet. It was, I was still technically like the art department. So it's not my fault, but, somebody loaded up, they were doing Ronald Reagan Library, and it was 10,000 units for Ronald Reagan Library. It was like the deal of the year. And somebody loaded up not flag red for every single one of the American flags. And it was the greatest mistake I've ever seen in a shop because 10,000 units were all rejected by the library. And like back then we didn't even do picture approvals. It was just kind of like a phone call of like, all right, you'll get it in 4 weeks.
Same.
And so sure enough, like they ended up firing the guy who was in charge of the job. But at that point, I don't know what the owner lost. By the time we reprinted it, he must have lost, I don't know, 40 grand or something on it. Like it was just rebuying the blanks, not to mention paying the labor twice, like just insane.
Yeah. I mean, we did a job before I was there. I think Dakota was there. I think back at 18, you can play it 18, maybe it was 2019, whatever. We had done a job. We had an existing client, and they were doing a watch party for their new brand up in Las Vegas. And so, I mean, it was this like $60,000, $75,000 order.
Mm-hmm.
Same print that we've always done, nothing different. Just run it 2 pass white, whatever. And Dakota had asked our art guy who handled everything, managed everything. Like I said, he was way out of his comfort zone. But he had Dakota's like, hey, Dakota knowing nothing about anything, right? He's like, this art looks different than it does on the screen. And he's like, no, that's right. Because are you sure? This is small lines, like, are they supposed to be in there? And he's like, no, it's right. This guy's telling, right? Okay, total order. It's wrong. And whole order. We didn't know. He shipped it. And he's like, no, it's exactly right. Just do it. So we shipped it. They get it to Vegas. I get a phone call, and it's our owner. It's the owner's friend. And he's up there with him. He goes, order is well. And we're like, what? He goes, this isn't the right logo on there. Where is this detailer? I'm like, oh, it was, oh my God. And I was at work and I walked in and I was like, is that what guy's name? And it's like, this whole order's wrong. And he goes, I was afraid to tell you. I go, we printed one. Like, there was only one printed. It was the perfect time to tell us, like, oh yeah, I didn't want to take, because I'm the devil, right? I didn't want to tell you with Opposatsi. I didn't want to tell you because like you would, lose your shit on me. I'm like, this is going to kill us. Like, this is a $75,000 order. We have to reprint.
That's
we
ridiculous.
can't do that. So yeah, so that was what we walked into, and I get it, man.
Press approval.
So that guy
that is the key.
The art guy, he didn't come with this because I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah. Everyone listening, do press approvals.
Press approvals, photos. I know it takes time, it's
so worth it.
Time, but and Dakota and I still, that's one thing that we kind of like, nope, they should have, no, look, if we're unsure, just send a photo or call them and say, I'm sending you a photo, I need you. Or like, sometimes we still do press check. So they'll be there if it's something new or a new brand. Well, we know now it's like, come down, we charge them for that time, and they come down and they approve it. We never change the art. It's like, oh, you can change the color or something. But
yeah, we do photo approvals on everything because we use Mighty Call as like our office phone. And so all of our orders, we can text as shirt agency and just text pictures straight. And so like everyone has to do it for every order. Awesome. On a small order, it's kind of annoying, but still, it's like one of those things where like you're really not making that much on a lot of orders.
Yeah, but you're going to lose that much more.
You can lose, like especially if you do a contract job, you can literally lose, you can go negative on the entire job because the blanks are way more than they even paid you.
And
so, yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we walked into a lot of unlearning. If we look back now and we're like, remember when we used to like use spray out, or I don't even know what it is in the spray out room, and they never diluted it. And the guy's like, man, you guys order a lot of this. I'm like, I don't know, like we're printing a lot, I guess. And he's like, I'll bring it. I want to see what you're doing. And found out like they were using it directly. They were not like.
Which thing was it?
I don't even know. It was
for the dip tank or for?
It was, do you think they had a dip tank?
No dip tank. So they were just like blasting aerosols?
Yeah. It was just a spray. It was in a like opaque kind of, whatever it was. What do you put on the screen to like get all the emulsion up?
Just like press wash, I guess.
Whatever. That's what it was.
So they would clean entire skirt.
With the sprayer, solid. Yeah, no dilution on it. So
that must have smelled horrible too.
I didn't know, like, so there was practices, that it
wow.
So I'm curious. I'm curious now. So you went 3.5 years doing this. If you had to go back, like, would you just start a shop brand new, or would you still buy a shop?
So I honestly feel like we did, even though we had clients, we got shut down at COVID 3 months later.
Right.
So now we are at 0. Right. So, I would, knowing what I know now, I would heat press and sell out. To be honest, I wouldn't have a $12,000 monthly rent. I wouldn't have any of that.
You have a $12,000 rent now? How many square feet?
6.
Whoa, this is 9,500. Yeah. That's a big difference. Yeah. I mean, I guess Manhattan Beach is definitely nicer, but
we're in El Segundo, but yeah, El Segundo is.
That is a lot per square foot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean,
does it feel like your clients are exclusively in that area, or do you just have clients that aren't?
I mean, we prep for a lot of people, like people like Denver and Hawaii, we ship, New York. But yeah, El Segundo is very cliquey in the sense that South Bay wants to stay core to the South Bay for sure.
And so like, who is the core normal client? Are they like businesses, but they only need 50 or 100 units, or are they larger?
So, and I listen to this on your podcast, so it's something that was to like find that niche and do that. Like, I think because where we're located, people just want to work with somebody close by. They don't want to go to LA. They don't want to do that. So we work with professional sport. We have all the makers right there. So we work with all the professional sports teams. Aerospace is there for.
Oh, cool.
Both Boeing is there. SpaceX is there, Breaking Out is there, so we have a Mattel, so there's a lot of those companies. And then we do startups, and I think we do startup companies and a ton of retail, and we charge them that, and they're just not beach. They're going to charge $75 for something that we might charge them $20 for, like these or something, whatever that is. But yeah.
Huh. So you end up with a lot of corporate.
We really do. We have a ton of corporate. And good relationships with them. So it's like they'll message Dakota doing a rocket march and like, hey, we need X amount, it's at midnight, and he's like on it. Right? So it's really relationship based.
And is a lot of that actually becoming heat transfers now, like Supercolors, or is a lot of it going on the press?
So screen print, I always want to screen print anything if I can. I think I just like the feel. It's definitely texture-y. For what heat press, like, so our whole heat press department is awesome. Love Realm and everybody there. We just threw a shout out to Supercolor because they're amazing. We had so when we got shut down during COVID, we had to kind of jump back there. We had to figure out how are we going to pay rent. Right? How are we going to pay rent? And then it was like $9,000. So how are we going to pay rent and utilities and keep our people working and money just coming in? So we did masks, right? So of course, like everybody did, that paid our rent. So we just went on and I shut down for a few days, and then Dakota and I came in and we put his office, we all were in one little office, and I said, every single one of our clients do a mock-up of a mask with their logo on it. And then we're going to tell them, like, we'll do your masks, and we're going to do like a work from home bag. So you get a t-shirt, because now, people aren't just on the phone. It's like they need to be able to see this logo, right?
Right.
So we did like we did a t-shirt or a polo, a mask, and like a hat. And then we just gave them a price. And so orders started coming in for that.
Hey.
The demand, how were we going to print out all that? Like,
right.
On our what? The workhorse that can't keep registration. So we had, what are we going to do? So I pulled out, we had an old hat press. It wasn't old, we never used it from the other shop. And dusted it off and said, we could totally do some of this. Like, this would be awesome. So we had a connection to Rum over at Supercolor, Pete Jr. Shout out, Pete Jr., love him. He actually came to California, he's from New York. I don't know if you know Pete Jr.
I don't think I've met him.
He has New Era Pretty. So Pete came in to do masks, like to manufacture them. And I saw him live on, this is a crazy story. So I saw Pete and Mike Chong live on like Facebook, and they were like in LA, they were making these masks. I'm like, this is awesome. They can make them, I can buy from them, and then we can rent them. So I told Pete, hey, come to the shop. I'm gonna reach over and whatever. He came in, he ended up staying 3 months. He lived with us in the shop. We have a studio. He lived with us for 3 months. He was on Mask Guy, and we printed him. So he got all the, masks for us. So he introduced us to Rum, and I'm like, oh, we don't have the screen printer. We can actually press them.
Right.
So we tried a couple others. They weren't staying cured or whatever. So Rum hooked us up, and man, it was like go time from then. So then we bought a second used hat press, and we just put them on there, and that's how we paid the bills, was just doing masks. And
how much do you think you did in masks, sales-wise? Crazy.
Whatever it costs, it funded it. I mean, it kept us open. So tens of thousands.
Wow.
Yeah, tens of thousands. Like we would get, 1,000 mask orders, and it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like, I'm charged $6. Like,
yeah,
rent. Okay, now we got another one for 100 or 1,000 pieces. So that's how we did it.
It's funny now because there was that chunk of time in like 22 where everyone was clearancing them because everyone who was making them ultimately lost money.
Yeah.
But yeah, our first month of doing masks, I think it was 30 grand in mask only sales.
Yeah, I bet.
And we didn't even go that hard on it. Like we just put it on our website and we didn't advertise or anything. And everyone was begging for them.
Yeah, I get the Instagram memory things. It's like, oh, remember this? I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it was awful. It was nightmare.
It was so bad. So but that kept us, and like I always will say, like relationships are everything, because Wong took us under his wing back, and he's just like, whatever you guys need. He's like, I know you kind of had him and Mike. He took us under his wing, just like, whatever you guys need. So then I was like, wow, we can do masks. And I got to send a picture. We have this old screen print hat press. So it's like with the little, haven't seen them, that it's got like, it's a one color hat press, and then the hat has to go through the dryer. And like,
is it a manual one?
Yeah.
Yeah. We have like the weird little adapter.
Yeah. So this thing has it's not a heat press. It's literally a screen print press.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had that. And then we turned over. I'm like, oh, we could do all kinds of colors now. And so our heat press department came from masks, and now we have the Fusion and IQ. We have like we have everything. We have like 6 heat presses, like for clothes and for hats, and it's a whole department now. Sigma Color came in and did a whole interview and like story on it, and installs and stuff, and like it was pretty awesome.
Very cool.
It was like, that's why I say I read it to read it now. Heat press is so underrated.
Yeah,
it really is.
Well, because what I think you could do is, if I started completely new right now, I would have a good relationship with someone who has a lot of autos. And then I would sit in like an unbelievably high traffic place in like 1,000 square feet. And that would be it. And it's like walk-in traffic and heat presses for small orders. But really, you're going to sub out 80% of all the work. Yeah. Because, like having all the overhead, like, sure, you can take on a bunch of orders, but by the time you've paid all the overhead, how much did you really make? Like, there's so many expenses compared to just saying, okay, look, I actually get to pocket 20% of this order, middlemanning it. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
sell your presses.
We're small. Like, in 2019, we got rid of the 2 presses that didn't work, and we got an 810 M&R.
Okay.
And expanded the keep. We had a 610 embroidery, super small, but 6 embroidery fires out. Our guy's been doing embroidery for 7 years. It's amazing. If it's massive jobs, I think I've talked to in the past, it's massive jobs, like we have somebody that will take on the overflow, which is awesome. Same thing with our screen printing. We have a great relationship with somebody who we don't want to say no to 10 or 12, 14 color.
Right.
Relationship with somebody that does contract and he kills it. So we have that. Learned a lot. It's learned a lot that we just don't have to say no to the larger jobs. We can say no to the smaller jobs. And times that.
Right.
Yeah, so that's just kind of how we do now. But yeah, so we got the M&R 2019. That was a game changer. Like sometimes I don't, and that's it. So we don't have another press. Like, that's our press at 810. And we got rid of everybody. We hired all new people, and now we just have a kick-ass team that they really are there for genuine reasons. Like when you like, oh, they don't care, they don't have the investment. Like people they are super careful about what goes out of our shop. They care. They really do care. It's awesome. We have a solid team.
And how many people is it up to?
We have like 8. Well, counting Dakota and I, like 6. Like
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I found that like as long as you're not getting sucked into tiny jobs, the amount of output you can do, especially on autos, is crazy. Like just booking them. That's why I'm always amazed by people like Liquid Graphics, where I'm like, the amount
like 200.
Well, I got a call from one of their customers who said that they were saying a 500 piece minimum right now. And then they had told them it was a 6 to 8 week turnaround. And this guy's like, I've been with them for years and I cannot wait that long or buy that many, because I guess this customer was doing,
You're not contract. Like he's not contract, right?
Well, no, his prices are insane. So I got the Liquid Graphics pricing sheet. Because this guy's like, you have to price match, but also don't wait 8 weeks. And I'm like, I don't know how that works. Like you want fast turnaround, but I have to match the people who have really slow. So it's like, there's other benefits besides price. But they were doing on 300 units, 5 color. They were putting the public wholesale price of the shirt, 0 markup. I don't know if they have maybe a little bit of a margin because they're buying at such high volumes, but no public margin at all on the blank. And then they were doing a 5 color for $1.17. And they had some setup fees, but the setup fees added up to about $60. So on 300 pieces, 5 color, they were only going to make maybe $400. And I was like, why do the job? But yet they're so busy with so many orders that the math actually is there. But for most people, especially smaller shops, like a 300 piece order, 5 color, that's kind of like your whole day, like you wouldn't be at, their entire price on the job was like under $450, including a perfectly nice blank. And I was just like, why even do the job? I don't know.
I always question our pricing because I guess I just always question our pricing because we never changed our pricing. We do now.
Yeah.
Like we were at the same price. We lost a lot. Not a lot. We lost a little bit of customers because Jeff had been in business for so long and the relationship was from there, and they would bring their own, or he would just, okay, it's $1.50 more. And I'm just like,
right.
But like never the markup was like 15% on it and stuff. Like I mark it up 35-50%. Like honestly, it depends, and depending how technical the job is. Not every job we do, it's not. This is what it is across the board. How technical is it? Like what's it? Or if they bring it, that's another thing. So okay, add $1 or $2 because now we're losing that.
Yeah.
Just those little things that we learned, but we lost some business because we're not doing the 6-color 12-piece no more. We would offer heat press now, and we would show them this is what it feels like, but this is how we could do it. We just have to change. Or we can do this order this last time, but next time you have to be at 36. Our minimum is 36. If it's adamant they're at 24, we'll offer heat applied. If they don't want to do that, then and they want us to do it, it's like, this is what it's going to cost. And we jack it up. Not that we jack it up, but
what we do is we
make
just
it worth our while to do it.
We just charge our minimum and we say, okay, like you wanted 18 shirts. So you're just going to pay us for what our minimum would have been. And then like you just didn't give us more shirts to print. Yeah. Like whatever.
And I have to think to Dakota for that because he's like, why when we hear minimums, why is this down here? And
right.
Like, I know that. I'm the one that, and I'm hard ass, but like he is, man. And he's hard on me. But he's right. But honestly, he's right. And like how is it working with your wife?
Awful.
That's another
topic. It's awful. Because the thing is, we'll talk about t-shirts like at 7 a.m. or we'll talk about t-shirts at 8 p.m. or whatever. It's still like we've never magically figured it out. Yeah. Like we can handle like orders and we both know like what to do. But when stuff's going wrong or whatever, like
you have separate roles.
Yeah, but I mean we also have been doing this, like we were insane in the beginning. Like in the very beginning, you would see the two of us on a press at midnight. Like it was crazy. Yeah.
Like it's almost happened. He's like, what is it called? Emancipating? Like when it's his own parents.
It's over.
Done. You're not my mom. And we're not mom and son there. Like people still learn. It's not that we're hiding it. I think it's awesome that work has a family business. I think it's people like that. But he doesn't call me mom there, boys. So like, hey mom, it's Kimarie. It's just not like that. He is strict. He will not talk about why are we talking about this? After hours we're at dinner, or if he's over at my house, or I'm like, oh, you see? He's like, I'll look at him.
Yeah.
He is, and he's right.
That's the way to do it.
He's right. He's like, okay. And I'm like, okay. Or he just won't respond in the text. I'm like, hey, did you? And he's like, I'm off, man. Like, I spend 60 hours there a week.
Yeah.
Like, let me have 2 days.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. It's the way to do it.
So we've gone at it. Like, he's like, I'm working with you. I'm like, I ain't working with you. It's hard. But now it's not as bad.
As the mom, you're going to win those fights all the time, right?
No, because no, man, like, there was a point with me, like I said, like, there was a point with me where I get pissed. Like, I was super nice in the show we're on sometimes for people, but I get pissed, back off. I just get to a point where it's like, television.
Yeah.
So we have got to that point. Like, it's not in a long time. He is very, and it's happened because why it's changed is because we've learned to automate the business, honestly. Like, yes, bringing in Printable. The other thing that was a game changer for us is graphic source, because we were doing everything. And if you have a company that can help do that, and take on some of that responsibility, just like with automating anything in it, when you can have a new tool in there, like providing something for my team, a new press or the CTS or anything like that, it makes your life easier.
Yeah.
And we always were the last ones to have help. We hired people and it was like, nah, they're not working right, and it's paying them out the ass, and it's like, oh my God, and we're training them and it's taking time. having something that you can use like a VA type thing and having steps done somewhere else in the process and having a virtual, like they're there, has been a game changer. And that saved our mother-son relationship because he was maxed out.
Yeah.
And we're small, like we're so small, but man, we power out a lot of business.
Yeah.
And it all goes through him. Like when I stop and think, it all goes through him. That one phone call, that one order, people picking that up, or all the heat press, like our heat press department, like is on fire constantly. We're so busy. Like we do a shitload of hats and tons of, I'm at Supercolor there for 5 minutes. I'm at Supercolor 4 times a week sometimes, picking up. Like they're 15 minutes from us. I'm like, they're ready. They don't even have the stuff in logo yet. And I'm already like, the stuff is ready, we're ready to go, you know?
So what's your guys' like marketing? Is this just natural because you're local, or are you guys actively trying to get new clients?
Yeah, I think we would be crazy to not always seek out.
Yeah.
We don't have outside sales. That's something that him and I do talk about, but being super active within the community. So being active doing pop-ups. I have a small little brand. My brand is up at one of a tap house. And so we would do our one of sponsor things, like our sponsoring is it's not just something on the back that we'll do. We put our inside label. And that's been key because now every time, who's going to read the back of the shirt? You know, we put it on the inside label so they see it. So yeah, we just stay super active within the community, and our outside people, like we just did stuff for Action Sports, are reaching out to the people that we've had from previous business, and has relationships from bakers and other stuff like that. So I mean, that's not doing outfit sales, but we definitely have relationships. It's all relationship based, really. Like it's super and it's strong. And where we are with, like I said, Manhattan and the South Bay and El Segundo, they're super tight about keeping it core to the community.
Yeah,
it's like a little Mayberry, like fire departments, and then that firemen knows the Beverly Hills firemen down in those San Diego. So now we've got Beverly Hills and San Diego fire, FEMA, all that.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
very, very fortunate.
Speaking of the tags, there's something that I saw that Fresh Prince is doing that I've been considering it. We're not as big as Fresh Prince, but what they're doing is they're offering the Fresh Prince blank, which is obviously not their blank, but they went and they paid to relabel all of it. Yeah. And then that is their cheaper shirt. Yeah. So you have to actually pay more to get like a Comfort Colors blank, even though they might have relabeled the Comfort Colors and called it a Fresh Prince blank. So they are getting their tag out there over and over and over, and they actually force you to pay more to just have it say Hanes. And it's kind of a great idea. Yeah. I don't know what that would mean for us to implement it, but I really like the idea.
I mean, if you had a house shirt, so our house and our go-to is AS Color.
Oh, you guys are fancy. Yeah. That makes sense where you are.
So AS Color is our actually house tee.
Yeah.
And so when somebody calls for a rush order, they get the AS Color basic.
Huh.
Yeah. And I mean, it's awesome. Like,
it's a great shirt.
It's just amazing.
So where are you guys now? Like, how are you feeling about your shop? Like, how's just like you said, you have a strong team, right? So how do you feel about your shop, where you are now, and how do you feel about just what the future kind of look like?
So because of the team that we have, I'm in it. I don't want to quit every day. You know, I mean, there's days, but like, we have. Now there's things that we want to do. I was talking to Paul, like I want to add a CTS now. Now there's things that we want to add to it, and it's getting better. But this is really, 22 is really or 23 is our first year of kind of normalcy. Yeah. And it's still like not really normal. We're slammed one week and the next we're like, what's going on? But I mean, I just see everything a lot. I see everything is, now that we've got some regular, some business that we've implemented and the changes that we've made, I'm not trying to quit every day. I definitely love what we do. I love the clients that we work with. Yeah. And it's awesome. I love it.
Nice. So you bought your business to begin with. Do you see
we're
yourself?
Still partners. We're still partners. So we still have a partnership.
So are you phasing that? You phasing that out like you originally planned?
Yeah, that's working in progress. But yeah, that would be ideal. Should just be able to have it all. That could be very possible. Maybe in the next year. Working on that.
So is he still in a business, the person that sold you?
Yeah, so Jeff is still like I see him maybe once every 4 months. He doesn't have anything to do with Clockwork. But he has other businesses. He's actually on the credit card processing company. So he got licensed or whatever you do to process credit cards now. So he's killing private bets and shit. So
yeah. Yeah. Private credit card processing is a crazy thing. I did like a phone center for literally 2 or 3 weeks and I quit. But it was interesting seeing the inside of it because they basically just build these giant call centers where all they do is have people cold call all day and harass people. And then they get fractions of a penny off of every single sale.
Yeah.
And so like it can be worth it eventually, but it's a pain.
He did another thing. So like when he left Clockwork, and like I said, it's all about relationships. Like if you take it flat, I feel that Clockwork is very boutique based because like we'll have people come in and they just want people from Boeing come in and it's like a wing work. They'll come in with their laptop and just like love the vibe of plants and like the whole thing in the showroom, and they'll work until their computer dies, and then they're like, I'm like, hey. But it's like so rad, like to have that vibe, and like we all do our work, but they'll just come in and like work. But Clockwork's definitely been a funnel for relationships and doing things. And Jeff, before he left Clockwork, and why he left is he got involved early on with like the CBD and the whole cannabis thing. And he started doing packaging for them. So that guy was hired him for packaging. And he's like, hey, no, we can't ever sell this stuff online. The CBD, it's restricted. And he's like, oh, so credit card processing company. And he did it. He did it work. And it's massive now.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's amazing how whenever I talk to people who talk about how they can't find a job or they can't like figure out ways to make money, and then you find out that they just like tell everyone they're a freelance graphic designer, and you're like, are you guys aware of like how many industries there are? There's so many tiny weird pathways that you can find yourself in that make massive amounts of money. Yeah. And so it's so weird when people get themselves in this hole of like, because I can only think of 12 jobs in the whole world, I can't find a job. And there's so many paths to make money. Like
this industry really, like, think of all the different people that come in who are like, you have long-term clients that like you have these relationships with.
And they do weird stuff. Like one of our clients who just ordered this morning, like all they do is work on rebuilding air conditioning compressors. They're not even doing like public air conditioning. And you wouldn't think that it's a thing, but they'll order like 1,100 pieces and it's uniforms. So like clearly they are huge. And like, how often are you thinking about the compressor inside of an air conditioner? It's, there's just so many ways to make money. It's kind of sad that people like are like, I'm either a barista or it's like, okay. And there's a lot of other options.
You did.
Yeah. People just can't see that. Like I thought about that too. Cause like, you see people just use just random stuff to make money, like especially now with the internet.
But it's taking that opportunity though. The risk. Jeff is a risk taker for sure. Like I said, he's started up and failed numerous businesses. Like I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what the hell are you doing? But then like you made this work, man. And like his 3-hour. I remember when I was just working for him, his wife would get so pissed off and you have 3-hour meetings. It's just a t-shirt. Like what? And he's like, you watch that 3-hour meeting with it. It's going to make us, and look at him now.
Yeah.
Like, no bullshit. Like that guy, he's a smooth talker. Like, he is a salesman.
Yeah. I mean,
all relationships.
The relationships, like Gavin, you know how that is with dealing with all the print shops. Like, what have you seen with kind of like, word of mouth and getting some sort of good reputation? And how does that normally affect you?
I mean, I think I kind of told you how this thing all started. Literally, before I even had the name of the business, I just called somebody and they was willing to just do business. So it's all about just people feeling good about you. Your name in the street has to be super clean. And you can't be just when somebody thinks of Cole, they just gotta feel positive vibes, right? So it's really about that, and it takes a long time, and people just have to feel that you're genuine. They're out to really take care of them. Obviously, they know it's a business and you got to make money, but are you that guy that's just gonna, if when things go wrong, are you gonna kind of step up and do it? So yeah, like for me, for example, even when I was running my screen printing shop, I was out there at all the meetings. All the trade shows. Try to go to every industry event as possible. I didn't even have the plan of building Steps.io, but I always knew just being connected to the industry was important. Probably the most important thing, right? Just the contacts in your phone, or just people knowing you by your first name is a lot more important in business than anything.
I would say no burning bridges for sure. It really is a relationship, 100%. And I mean, I say that, how's your outside sales? It's relationships.
Yeah.
1,000%. We had a horrible reputation when we took over. Like, honestly, we did. Like, we had big companies that just were like, we never knew what we were going to pick up anymore. And it's like, oh my God. Like,
how did you rebuild that?
I don't even know how it got rebuilt. I think it was just people, like, honestly, word of mouth throughout the community. Like, we never had, Dakota and I are taking over anymore. I shut down 4 months after we took over.
Yeah.
And then, like,
you didn't have the big, ugly, new management banner.
Nobody could come around for 2 years. Yeah. So, like, how do you do that? So it was just really gradual of us putting our faces out there. Like, we took over Clockwork. Yeah, Jeff's still involved, but, and a big thing was, like, our former guy who was the manager, our guy, like, he's not here any longer. We can make some changes. But we have people going, like, I'll tell you what, I would never come back to you if he was still here. Like, we had to clean house. And when you take over a business, like, you take over everything. Mm-hmm. Like, you either clean out and employees, bad habits, like, as hard as it is, like, you adapt all those horrible habits.
Right.
And we did. And getting our reputation back was like, and I'm confident. I know when something that moves us, people are stoked on it. Like, little things that we'll do extra. Like, I think that's one of my questions I have for you guys is, like, what extra do you do for clients? Like, one of the things that we do, like, for heat press, and this is just goes back to, like, keeping in good with the client and showing them that you really do care, is like when, we'll do, like, say, shirts or something like that. I'll throw that same design that we do extra. So we'll put them on tote bags, and they'll have, like, now they pick up their order and, like, with the box, and then I'll have it on the tote bag, and I'll put some hats in there too. And they're so stoked, like, oh my God, you totally did this for us. Like, you know what I mean? Little things like that, or throwing in, we did beanies and, like, what would this look like on a hat? Or what would this look, I think it would look dope on a hoodie. And so, I never thought about that. Those little things that we're genuine about, it's not just a sales tactic. It's like, look how people are visual, right? So, like, when we built our showroom, we have everything in there. It's color, like Bella, like Carhartt. We have all this whole showroom built out really nice. And people can come in and touch and feel, but we'll put their product on something that they didn't order. Mm-hmm. Or if it's a construction company and they have the same shirt constantly, we'll throw in different shirts that are more expensive at no cost just to show them, look, it's another color. Or you don't have to have a 5180. You could have a 5001.
Yeah.
His color, and look how it builds. And so it's all those little things that's made a big difference in us changing our reputation for sure.
And so talking about, like, the blanks, I always kind of like to hear, like, we just had Rich talk about it on Culture Studio, and he basically has his staff just tell the client what they're getting. We have, like, basically the entire catalog available on our website, which I think overwhelms people.
Oh, it does.
And then
we do too,
other people I've seen, like, what's his name? Matt? Is it Matt Marcotte? Is that his name, Gavin?
Yeah, Printavo.
I was checking out his website because he has, like, his own print shop also besides his Printavo stuff. And he literally offers, like, 7 items, period. Like he cut it down to nothing.
Yeah.
And so I don't know how he handles things like, someone asking for comfort colors. I don't know if he says no or if he just only helps you if you ask for it. But yeah, it's an interesting thing to see how people like offer blanks and what the right answer is. I don't know what the right answer is.
So I think it's not us giving them the right answer. It's us asking the right question.
Mm-hmm.
So, we do a lot of events or stuff in the school and, they're going to be on a budget. So it's like, and you want, and I've heard you talk about good, better, best. I know on your website you would have done good, better, best. That's kind of what I adapted to. It is, what is the score? Are you reselling this? Is it something that's for an event and you want to stay, within a certain budget and I can offer this. I can put them in a guild in 64,000, right?
Yeah.
Soft style, something that's super soft and they still have that feeling. Or is it retail or streetwear and you want something that's like a professional kind of look, like a 5001 AS color. So I think asking those questions, we used to have we had like 5 racks and the people, the reps would come in and they go, oh yeah, well, what offer this in like 4 years? I'm like, yeah. So we got rid of all that and now we have our go-tos. It's AS Color has a whole section for just AS Color. It's like all the shirts, sweatshirts, their hats, they'll come up and just restock us with stuff. Independent, just like we'll have the lightweight of just have a variety of certain brands, Bella, independent, AS Color. That's our core of that. And then we'll have like the budget friendly as well.
Yeah.
We'll have a few of those. But shower, I don't even have brands on in the shower. Like I'll bring it out. So this is the difference. This is us, $3 more. This is what you get. So they're like, oh, shit. And you want it to end up in the Goodwill store in a few years, or do you want people to wear it? Because, and we'll be honest with them, like, I want a good shirt. I'm like, it's going to cost a couple more dollars. Like, don't even print this. Do a hat then. Don't even print this shirt if this is what you're going to feel, because it's going to be some heavy, scratchy ass shirt.
Yeah.
When you can spend $1.50 more and have something that people will wear all the time.
For the hats, are you doing a lot of like Flex Fit or Auto, or what's the main brand there?
Auto.
Auto.
Like,
okay.
They're in the South Bay. Like the Trucker 39165 is thousands a month.
Wow.
Thousands. And next one would be probably like a 6506 like a dad cap. We use Academy Fit. So we use Academy Fit for our dad caps, and they're amazing and expensive and awesome. So we go to LA and just grab, 200 of those. But yeah, those are probably Yukon. We move a lot of.
Going to LA is cheaper than just direct or a distributor?
Both we do a rice order, or sometimes they don't have it.
Yeah.
But Academy Fit, like, or we'll Uber it over. We'll just we'll call them and say, hey, we're going to Uber it down or something like that. But yeah. Which is cool.
Yeah, I've never used them.
Awesome. So we have clients that like up in Beverly Hills and that, they need, or rice order might be local and they need it next day. So Dakota was doing an order for a guy up in Beverly Hills and they needed it for this event and it was a last minute order and it's like, okay, we'll just FedEx it overnight. It was a couple $100. So Dakota goes on Uber. It was like $37.
Yeah.
And they got it the next day.
I don't know how the messenger businesses are still in business, because like I'll get quotes over $100 for a messenger and then I open the Uber app and it's $30-40.
Yeah.
So like, I don't understand how they're even alive anymore. Maybe it's because there might be restrictions for like lawyers or like documents, but it doesn't make any sense for us.
Yeah, I remember calling and saying, "Oh, it's $200." I'm like, "Oh my god!" It's like, it's San Diego. I'll pay an employee. Do you want me? I'll give you the $200.
Yeah.
To drive this down there. But yeah, we Uber a lot.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Yeah.
It works well.
Yeah. So, but yeah, those are the main hat. Like the hat, Auto is probably Auto. Academy Fit. Yeah. Main hat.
Yeah.
Very cool.
One thing you said a little bit earlier was just creating, like, how do you nurture your customer and how do you like kind of build that? I had read this book a while back and we've been playing around a lot with this in our startup. This book is called Never Lose a Customer Again or something like that. Never Lose a Customer Again. It was an awesome book. And one thing it talks about is just being super intentional about that, right? About how you're going to take care of your customer. Like, think of that in advance. Even though it may feel like robotic and it may not, but to the customer, they don't know, right? So, for example, there's a bunch of different avenues that you could talk to your customer. Like one, you could just pick up the phone and just call them, right? The customer will appreciate that. Sending a gift to a customer and surprising them, right? Customer definitely will appreciate that. You printing the shirt and you putting an extra something in there that's like customized to them, they will appreciate that, right? Like for us, one thing that we do is literally created a customer nurture program because we kind of know our customers going to be with us. Like how many times can we positively touch that customer, right? So let's say the first month with the customer is me, the founder, getting on the phone and just having like a conversation. It's literally written down in our SOP. I'm picking up the phone like on the 25th day and talk to the customer. On the 45th day, the customer's with us. The customer's getting something. Now, I'm not going to reveal everything because if the customer becomes ours, I don't want to reveal our game. But it's like there's 10 different touch points that we want to touch the customer within a year period.
That's in this book?
That's
in the book / it's what Gavin does.
Okay, I love it. I love it because it does make all the difference.
And you're right about touching your customers a lot. There is something about having a relationship with somebody, especially once you get to that thing where like they can just text you. As long as they're not super annoying and bugging you in the middle of the night, like it's cool that you can just get a text, be like, oh yeah, we're halfway through, or oh, we can slip the brush in, and it not necessarily being all this like upfront email. You seem to not have a receptionist the way you're talking about your orders. You're the number one points of contact. So
whoever answers the phone, it's him or I.
So there just is no like, bad customer service situation where they're.
I'm sure I think my worst thing is missing emails. I think that's my worst thing. Like I think our customer service is awesome because we do care. It's not just a BS like come in and
hey, it's 20-year-old.
I think the other thing is like we work with so many because that is their first perception of your company is like hey, you have place in front, right? And if I have somebody who's not just making them feel like they should feel, then that speaks volumes of our company.
Also, industry knowledge is really hard to train. Like, if a person doesn't know about T-shirts, they just sound so stupid to clients so fast.
Totally,
it's hard.
It is I remember, him, the guy before us, like when we were at the other place, we never even knew what a next level was.
Yeah,
they never even did. I was like, oh my god, this shirt's amazing. Like we use Gilda, and like that's just what we use, and not that that's a bad thing. It definitely has its place for certain businesses, but I didn't know about anything else. Like I didn't know that there was like Bella and any of this other stuff because there was no communication, So having meeting with the reps and stuff like that, like really picking and choosing what prints well and what does best, that's awesome. But like having clients like Dakota and I being in the front of it, that's important for me to make sure that they know that like we sit with them sometimes when they're building the business. You get retail. I don't like drag yourself, but we'll get retail and then we'll set meeting. We'll just come in and talk and come into the showroom, and we'll set aside 30 minutes and we'll sit with you, send your designs first. And so we know what we're kind of looking at. And then you can come in and tell us like what your plan is. And they'll come in with, I have 10 designs. I'm going to knock all this stuff out. And what is your work? What's your work day? Who is your social media? Who is your demographic? You're going to do that with them. Like, well, and I'm like, then we're not pretty 10 designs. I could take your money, and I tell them that. I could take your money, and here's $5,000, like, and I'll do it. Right. But then you're not going to be a repeat customer. We're not going to grow together. Like, pick 3 designs, do a complex design, and 2 simple ones. Let's start with that, and let's see how that goes. Because we need to grow together. Otherwise, I'm not going to see him again, and it was a one-time thing, and goodbye.
Yeah.
So we're super honest with them like that. And I think people appreciate that.
Yeah, being on the side of being a brand it's interesting how many people think that that's, I guess, an easy path. I don't know if it's just because of YouTube content, but everyone seems to think they're going to start a brand. And then the people that normally have a successful brand, they built a massive audience and then they had a reason to sell merch.
Sure.
And so it's just weird when people come and they have, 81 Instagram followers and they're talking to you about their brand. And it just seems like they're completely oblivious.
I don't want to be that person who's like, who am I to say that they can't sell a bunch?
I mean, they might be able to do it eventually, but they don't have a reason to now.
And if they do have a lot of followers, we have a client who he's got, you know, upwards of 75,000, and he's an influencer. And he was referred to us, and he's going to sell hundreds of thousands of shirts.
They always will.
And he orders 36 at a time.
Yeah. We have a YouTuber who we have had for, I mean, I don't know, 9 years or something. And so he's always been great, and he's super nice, and he'll get 2 million views like every video. And off of 2 million views with an audience that really likes him and is loyal and knows him, we'll like knock out 900 sales, which is great. Like it's a legitimate amount of,
like monthly. Does he do monthly drops?
He doesn't even do every month because he's afraid of burning everyone out. Yeah. So he'll do, you know, I don't know, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, something like that. And so like, it's good. And we do like the fulfillment for it and stuff. So like, it's a good chunk of money when he orders. It'll be like 10 grand or 15 grand or something. But I mean, 2 million views and it converts to 900 sales. It's just not.
If he did it more often, do you think if he did it, or if you did a test with that or added a hat to it, do you think that people now they're used to him only doing a drop every few months?
I mean, he has pins, beanies, hats. He has products that we didn't make. He's had mouse pads. He's definitely had different products. But I think there's just an element of like people will consume content and they don't want to wear it on their body. Yeah. Like, how often have you been wearing like your favorite musician or whoever on a t-shirt, to be honest? Like, I own like 3 shirts that are branded by content makers. I don't want to do it. And so like, maybe it works better if you really target young demographics, but a lot of branding ultimately isn't about, you know, being popular.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, my feeling is, before we took over, we worked with a bunch of like the Kardashian type, right? So we had relationships with that, and so we were working on a project. But I think that whole influencer thing, I think it was so overdone for so long. People don't even believe it's authentic anymore. Right. I think it really went where like, oh, if we're going to hire Kylie to do something, it's going to be $300,000, and everything that was involved in that, like. I learned on the back end, like, okay, we can have to spend $1 million to get those products made, because if she does sell X amount for you, right? But I think the authentic and genuine behind that got saturated from the influencers of that caliber, right? Of that kind. Whereas people were like, I don't know if I want the shirt. I like watching you, but yeah, I wouldn't buy that garment.
Yeah.
I think it just got saturated.
Yeah. Sure. It's interesting how like the best brands, I mean, obviously there's a massive merch game for concerts specifically, but then like I've talked to some of those guys who are handling merch for bands and they're like, yeah, 85% of the sales are live. Like we do their website, but on a given day, people aren't Googling these bands and trying to buy a shirt. It's because they're at an event. And then there's like an element of like, I want to remember this. Like I was here, I saw this tour. So there's a memento element that really is important.
You're in the moment, that impulse purchase, you're feeling it, right? And you want to have that memory versus going home going, $65 for that shirt.
Yeah.
You really want to do that? You have more,
yeah.
Definitely impulse. Agreed.
So we have gone over our allotted time. Gavin, you got any last second questions?
No, this was good. Like learned a lot. Are you going to sell the business? Do you plan on selling the business?
No, no. I'm going to own it 100% first. Like that's our thing. Okay. Like I said, I'm not going to sell it anytime soon, but I think about my 5 and 8 year. Nice. So I'm thinking about my 5 or 8 year exit plan. I think I would stay within the industry. What?
Just sell it to your son, right? Yeah, just like give your shares over to him and make him pay it.
I worked remotely, I'm sure. Or even did that, but
have him buy you out and then
I would make to stay in somehow. Like I love the whole e-press thing. I love working with people and doing that. So like, but in 5 years I might feel differently, or 10 years I might feel differently.
Yeah. My grandma is about to turn 90 and she has not retired.
Oh,
she
wow.
is. She like can't stop.
She's been a reason, but she has a reason to wake up.
Yeah.
So she stays busy because what do you do if you don't? On the weekends, I'm so lazy and I'm like, man, I need to get back to work.
she's more energetic than me. So like,
That's awesome.
yeah, having something to do, I think really matters. Cause I don't know what you do. I'm not sure what you do when you retire. You start volunteering, I guess. Maybe that's how you fill your time, but it just seems like a lot of free time.
Too much.
I get bored on like Sunday afternoon, and I'm like, I've done this. Yeah. It's been a day and a half.
A little side brand because like, what am I? Yeah. I had to stay with. I love it. I actually love this. I'm glad we did it now. I think we've learned a lot. There's a lot to learn. Anybody out there taking a little business, man, get into it. Like get into the guts of all of it. Like we still have paperwork to do. We have all that still, but the learning of it and taking on bad habits and adopting all those.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to just, and they took it. Like it's just sucked, but there's a light in it.
Yeah.
We're there. Like we're there.
And there will never be a problem again. All right.
I'm back to the office today, so.
Perfect. Well, thanks so much for coming by. It was good meeting you in person after seeing you forever on Instagram.
My Instagram buddy.
Like,
oh, what you doing? I still have to pick your brain on a bunch of stuff. I've got notes from all your other podcasts. So
sounds good.
Part 2.
All right. Well, thanks to everyone listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your mom about us. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye.